Water, the source of all life on Earth. From the oceans to the atmosphere, water is what provides. Alright, maybe that was a little dramatic. What we're actually looking at is this little pond right here. And we're just using this as an example of how to get really good B-roll, interesting B-roll. So this is in the category of 3, 2, 1, go. This is the one go. So we're going to do a lot of oneing and goes. Like before, we're just going to be using our phone. No need to do anything fancy, but we're going to get a little bit more into the manual settings on the phone. Just a little bit. We'll go into more detail on that later. But for now, we're just looking at some simple B-roll ideas that you might not think of if you're new to filming. So even though we need a lot more one, or B-roll as we're going to call it from here on out, we also need 3, our establishing shot. And you might think that this is a good establishing shot, and it is. Let me show you something else. If we move just ever so slightly this way, we've got more of the foreground in the shot. It's out of focus, but it gives you more of a sense of depth. And that sense of depth is what you can get with a camera that you don't really get with your eye. Exactly. Have a little bit of the foreground, whether it's you're holding it low and you're getting some grass or some flowers in the foreground out of focus. But there's another thing that you can do with this. Come a little closer. So you see how our young man there is in focus. But if I move the camera too much, see now the leaves are in focus. We don't want that. I can press and hold on what I want to have in focus, and this little lock icon shows up. Now, I can actually move the phone through the foreground, and it stays out of focus, while the subject stays in focus. Of course, the same principle applies to extreme close-ups. For example, I can get this leaf in focus with the aqueduct out of focus, and then either choose which one I want or shift. For example, here I have the leaf in focus, and then just by moving the camera a little bit, I can get the aqueduct in focus. Leaf in focus, aqueduct in focus, just by shifting the camera a little bit. But let's say you want to keep the leaf in focus while you're moving the camera, same as we did with the wide shot. You focus on the leaf. Let's focus on a different one. There we go. Press and hold until the little lock icon shows up, and now I can move the camera, keeping the subject in focus. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. So far, we've been doing little motions with the camera that's just using our hands and arms. What if you want to make a larger motion that means you're walking? Well, you can do that too. But there's a couple of things to think about. First, be sure you're using the flat hand grip like I showed you before. And when you are walking, make sure you're bending your knees, because that's going to let you move smoothly. You're almost using your knee as a shock absorber to keep the shock from getting to the camera. So it works kind of like this. It takes some practice, but it's well worth doing. One of the things to think about when you're shooting B-roll is that the camera can do things that the eye cannot. So, think about low shots that you wouldn't get with your eye, and high shots. Use different angles. If you're shooting all your B-roll with the camera right here in front of your eye, you're missing an opportunity. For example, I can get my camera up and over and shoot down like that. Kind of making a little drone shot with the phone, maybe twisting it slightly as I come down. Or I can get right up inside here, inside these leaves, which I would have trouble doing without a snorkel. I come straight down, and go up. Oh, watch out for reflections. Who's that? Watch out for shadows too. And by doing that with the camera, you are making the video something that's more interesting than just a recording that's about where your own eyes would be. Then you as the editor can make it even more interesting. So those are the basic ideas of B-roll. And you can see that there's a lot of opportunity to shoot the same thing in a variety of different ways. And that's why we have go in 3, 2, 1, go. Get a different angle. Go shoot it from a different location. Shoot it high, shoot it low, shift focus. That's what we're talking about when we say go, because you really need a lot more B-roll than you think. You can almost never have enough. You know you have too much B-roll when your hard drive is full. Give it a try.